Hi, everyone. I'd like to do a shout out to our sponsor, Baco Diagnostics. Early detection is the single most important factor in improving patient outcomes. The Baco Diagnostics team recognizes how impactful a podiatric physician can be and remains committed to supporting you in your role as the first line of defense in diagnosing conditions of the lower extremity. Thanks to the unwavering support of our clients, Baco Diagnostics has been able to give back to the podiatric community for 16 years by providing podiatric educational resources and advocating for the profession. Baco Diagnostics, helping podiatric physicians keep America on its feet. If you have not yet had the opportunity to utilize Baco Diagnostics services, get started today by sending an email to corporaterelations@bacodx.com. The first 50 podiatry offices who request a starter kit will receive a Dean's Chat mug. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dean's Chat, where we discuss all things podiatric medicine. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Jensen. I'm the Dean at the Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine and the host for the Dean's Chat podcast. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, rep in Dean's Chat from the studio, Dr. Joanna Ritchie. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
You know what? I'm doing all right. I was traveling a little this weekend and appreciate you going down to the studio.
Oh man, anytime I get a chance to come to the studio, we love it. So
Sounds good. Well, we have another phenomenal episode today. Just for our listeners and our viewers, we're doing bonus episodes on Dean's Chat. And those bonus episodes include students from the various schools and colleges of podiatric medicine. And today we have 3 students representing the Scholl College of Podiatric Medicine. Let me say William M. Scholl College of Podiatric Medicine. I'd like to introduce each of you individually. Representing the class of 2026, Ms. Cameryn Green. Welcome, Cameryn, to Dean's Chat.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. And representing the class of 2027, Agna Patel. Welcome, Agna.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. And also representing the class of 2027, Haumza Dweik. Haumza, welcome to Dean's Chat.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you so much.
yeah, we're really excited to have you guys. We love our student episodes and we can't wait to share with the audience what makes Scholl special. So thanks so much for coming. I think we're going to start with having each of these episodes be able to stand alone on their own. So if, Cameryn, you had offered to help define what podiatric medicine is for us.
Yeah, so podiatric medicine is the field of medicine that deals with the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of all the pathologies originating from the foot, ankle, and lower extremity. Pretty broad definition, but I think a lot of people who study and work in the field know that it does encompass a lot of different things.
Excellent. Thank you.
Very good. And Agna, would you share with our listeners the path to becoming a podiatrist?
Yeah, of course. So the path kind of varies for a lot of people, what initially gets them interested into coming into podiatric medicine. I would say, like, I've heard many students say, like, oh, I got interested from sports med or from my school or shadowing a podiatrist. So it honestly depends on where your like first initial thoughts on podiatric medicine start. But originally, you just go to high school, get your high school degree, and then move on to get your undergraduate degree. And then from that, you have 4 years of podiatric medical school. Yeah, and then you go from medical school on to residency and then a fellowship if you wish to do that.
Very good. Thank you, Agna.
And we're really excited, as you had mentioned, Agna, everyone has a different story in terms of kind of what sparked that initial curiosity. So what we would like to do is we'll start with you, Haumza, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about where you did your undergrad, and you can talk about what you got your degree in if you'd like, how you discovered podiatric medicine, and what your shadowing experience was like.
Yeah, so I went to the University of Illinois at Chicago, UIC, and I majored in general biology. I actually grew up an idiopathic toe walker, so I was aware of the field at a very young age. And by the time I had reached my sophomore year, I knew I wanted to do something within the field of medicine. So around my junior year, I had reached out to a local podiatrist, Dr. Nicholas Stepanowski. And I actually shadowed him, and I really enjoyed the diverse amount of cases that he was seeing. You know, that was really an eye-opener to, it's not just specifically one thing that you're seeing every day, and the diversity of his schedule, where he's at. Sometimes he's at the hospital, sometimes he's in clinic. So that really kind of boosted my excitement towards entering the field.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Cameron, how about you? Where'd you do your undergrad and what got you interested in podiatry?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad at the University of Alabama, and then I actually did a gap year in the Washington, D.C. area where I thought I was going to be applying to PA school to be a physician assistant. When I was in that kind of gap year, I had a friend who went from being pre-PA to podiatry, and he was just talking about how much he loved the field. So I decided to shadow a podiatrist to kind of get some medical care hours to apply to PA school, and then ended up really liking the field, seeing all the variety that you can treat within podiatry. So then I ended up applying podiatry, and now I'm almost in the second half of my third year.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Agna, how about you? Where did you do your undergrad and what got you interested in podiatry?
Yeah, I went to undergrad at Loyola University Chicago and I majored in neuroscience. What got me interested was that I was actually interested in many parts of medicine. I just really didn't know what exactly I wanted to go into. And the way that I found out was by networking with a lot of different students. So I talked to people that were PAs, I talked to people that were like MD, DO, podiatrists, and everything. I think the best way that kind of nailed me down on why I wanted to be podiatry was by connecting with students and getting their aspect on like why they chose podiatry and going in based on like their experiences, as well as like going out and shadowing a podiatrist and learning about like what exactly does a podiatrist do and how involved are they, and like and then just seeing the vast scope of practice they have, as well as like having a like a nice work-life balance too. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
That
Thank
is
you.
fantastic. Haumza, I had a question for you. I was looking through your CV today, and I noticed you did research on Alzheimer's disease as an undergrad. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and then I'll get on to the next section.
Yeah, so I had the privilege of working with Dr. Dan Nicholson. He at Rush, and it was working on degenerative diseases of axons. I mean, I was a research assistant, so a lot of the work that I did was in DAPI and ImageJ. It was just taking slices of images of neurons and really just isolating them. But honestly, it was a very fulfilling experience, not just because of the day-to-day of being able to like, okay, well, I just learned this in a course last semester, like but it's also like the connections that I made there. I have friends who I've met there and I still am friends with them today. And it really helped me grow closer to them and other fields within medicine. It was really a fulfilling experience.
That's great. Hopefully it'll lead to more research in podiatric medicine down the road in surgery. All right, well, thank you. The next section we wanted to talk about is your involvement with the American Podiatric Medical Students Association. All three of you are leaders in your college. You're representing your school not only in a state level, school level, but at a national level. And I thank you for doing all that, because taking on the advocacy role for our profession in addition to the curriculum is beyond the call of duty, right? So I was hoping that each of you could talk about how you found out about the American Podiatric Medical Students Association and what your current responsibilities are with that. And Agna, if you don't mind going first, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So the way that I found out was when they had the info session and I learned about exactly like what it was. I connected with Allie Will, who's a class of 2026 delegate, and I just asked her a few questions. And it was also nice because she was also one of the reasons why I came into podiatric medicine, since we went to the same undergrad. So it was nice to have like someone that I can really like connect with and then like have an honest conversation. And it was honestly just something I was looking for, where I could stand up for like my peers and advocate what they want to say during the House of Delegates, and also like be able to be like that networking force for my class. And like I'm a person that really likes to talk and get to know a lot of people, and so I felt like I would be a great person for the role, and I really enjoy it.
It's fantastic. When we did this interview last year, we interviewed Allie. And
Yeah,
I say hi to her if you see her. That's great.
yeah, I will.
All right, thank you. Cameron, how did you find out about APMSA and what are your current responsibilities?
I think I found out about it the same way as Agna. Every year we have our second year reps come talk to the first years. So that's how a lot of us get involved. I was really interested in the advocacy aspect and kind of raising awareness of what podiatrists are and what they do, because I didn't really know about it until I had a friend go into the field. So that's really what drew me to being a part of APMSA. And I was also really interested in the fact that it was one of the only opportunities at like Scholl or any school as a first year to meet and talk to students from other schools across the country. Right now in APMSA, I'm the co-chair for the PR committee. So I work a lot with generating all the content for our Instagram and trying to gain awareness for what all the schools and all the students are doing around the country.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Haumza, how'd you find out about APMSA and what is your current role in the organization?
So I found out the same way that Agna and Cameron did at the information session. My current role, I serve as student body president at Scholl through IPMSA, which then I go and represent the Scholl student body at APMSA at the House of Delegates. And I also am a part of the President's Committee for APMSA. And honestly, so far I went to my first conference in August, and it's an amazing experience seeing people who have the same visions for the field and seeing how other people view the field, how other people view the future of the field, and are able to discuss different things, whether it's at the academic level at their own personal schools, or if it's at residency, or it's an amazing experience.
That's fantastic. The next big meeting is here in Phoenix in March at the ACFS meeting. We're looking forward to seeing all of you in person. But thank you so much for representing the profession. Joe, I think our profession's in good hands going forward with leaders like Haumza.
It's always so fun, isn't it?
It is. It's great. Thank you so much, all three of you.
And I love how you each kind of highlighted that first connections with other students, and then that informational session, like how valuable that is. So again, anyone that's interested in having opportunities to learn more, having role models like you to kind of reach out to and go to that first session could be a really valuable experience. Not to mention how busy you all are. We'll transition a little bit into curriculum. So we know that the podiatric medical curriculum, it can be really rigorous. So we'll break it up into into the first year, second year, and then we'll kind of group third and fourth year together. Haumza, you had offered to do first year curriculum. So if you don't mind talking a little bit about class size, the kind of courses that you take, the opportunities to interact with interdisciplinary programs, if those are present on campus.
Yeah, so a lot of our classes are interdisciplinary. Rosalind's actually really big on interprofessionalism and really understanding the roles and value of other fields in medicine. We start off with anatomy, general anatomy of the entire body, and physiology and histology. We have a mixed course in our first year, as well as biochemistry. And that really is the big bulk of the courses that we take in the fall. It bleeds over to spring, where we begin lower extremity anatomy and neuroscience, as well as Podiatric Medicine 1, which, it is nice because it helps you. It's a course that allows you to get a deeper background to why things are within the field, what is important about the field. And, that's when we start getting guest speakers and faculty from the second and third years to come talk to us about different aspects of the field, which is very nice. We also have UICR. Rosalind Franklin and Scholl are very proud to have CLEAR. So UICR is a course that we have that offers research, and it explains how research works and how to be able to properly read a research article to prepare us for those journal clubs that we get in residency. And honestly, a lot that it's much more important than you may think going in to, when you leave undergrad. Some people are big on research, some people aren't, but it's something that's very valuable that I found, especially going into second year, and you transition into rotations. But that's pretty much sums up the first year. At the end of first year, my apologies, we have biomechanics in the summer, and then that's it.
So do you guys take courses all through the year? You take them also through the summer semester, quarter, or whatever it ends up shaking out to be?
So yeah, so a lot of our courses they're all at their own time frame. So some courses begin in August, some of them begin in October, November. And then we also have some courses that begin, like neuroscience and LEA begin in early spring. And then we
So
have biomechanics in the summer. It kind of depends. Each course has its own different length and time that it's going to be running. And we don't really have a final or semester. We do follow a quarter system, but
okay.
it's kind of loose.
Yeah, they can kind of merge into each other, but they almost stagger, which kind of makes it easy, not easier, but more palatable, right? It's
Yes.
like you start to get a little familiar and then you can add on new things and kind of get your flow down. So I can appreciate that. I think your comment about evidence-based medicine and learning how to read a research article, like those are things that we know are so critical, especially as we continue to move into so much more emphasis on what does the evidence say? What does the literature say to support this? So if we have time, we can circle back to that because I know it's definitely something Dr. Jensen and I have a passion for as well. But in the interest of keeping this on schedule, we'll move to the second year. And Agna, you had offered to talk about second year curriculum.
Yep. So second year kind of is a little bit different than first year. So we do have two BBS courses, so basic science courses that are like pathology and pharmacology that are on our boards. But then aside from that, we move into more of a clinical base. So we start taking our surgical class, then we start taking radiology, and we also have workshop and clinic associated with it. We also have a class with the MD students called ECR, where we basically like learn like clinical skills, how to do kind of different kinds of like tasks and things like that. And yeah, so moving along with that, we basically just have more clinical classes incorporated. And I would say like our workload does get a little bit heavier in our second year, but not as bad as like anyone would think. It's just that in the beginning, it's a little front loaded, but at the end, we have more time to study for boards, which is nice. And we get to end early May, so it gives us about like a month and a half to study for boards, which is super, super nice before we start our third year.
Fantastic. And you said that the clinical skills course was integrated fully with the MD program. Are there other basic science or other courses that you take with them?
Yeah, so in our first year, we do take anatomy, and I believe that's one of, and we also take pathology with them too.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
And
Yeah.
also
All right.
neuroscience is combined with not the MD students, but the physical therapy students.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you so much. And that was a beautiful segue. Cameryn, if you don't mind taking over for kind of what starts to happen in third year and then transitioning into fourth year.
Yeah, so like Agna said, the kind of ending of our second year is taking our boards exam. So after we take our boards exam, we come back, and third year definitely looks different than first and second year because you're not really in the classroom taking classes anymore. We're doing our capstones, which are 5-week blocks where you're focused on one big topic. So we have radiology, surgery, general medicine, and ortho as our different capstones. So for that 5-week blocks, you're not in a classroom learning about those topics because you did that in first and second year. For surgery, you are in the anatomy lab using bone saws, using all the different instruments that you're going to use in surgery, and learning how to do these procedures on cadavers. Then when you move into radiology, you're not learning what things look like on X-ray, because again, you learned that in second year. Your professors are pulling up an X-ray for you, and you're practicing verbalizing how to read that X-ray, how to take out different differentials based on what you're seeing, and how to just explain what you are seeing both verbally and then also in like a SOAP note. Then you move into ortho, where you do a lot more detailed hands-on work with the entire biomechanical exam, doing a lot of casting, taping and padding as well. And then you move into general medicine, which is a great way to learn outside of podiatry, just about the whole body and how those systems affect podiatry. And you do a lot of like simulated patient encounters. We go in and we have like mannequins that can blink, they can talk, they can have a heartbeat, pulses, and you learn how to assess the patient as a whole. Then something that really drew me to Scholl actually is that in January of our third year, we start our rotations. So we get out there a little bit earlier and we see patients at all these different sites. Every month we'll go to a different rotation until the end of our fourth year.
Fantastic. And so what does fourth year look like?
You're just doing your rotations every month. So fourth year is all getting out there every month at a different site. Basically just seeing patients, learning the field hands-on.
How many externship opportunities does Scholl give you?
So there's a variety of different tracks you can select that basically says the order that you're gonna do your clerkships in. At Scholl we do like electives. So I think each person has like 8 to 9 electives, which is where you can select where you want to go for that month. Then we have a couple programs that are just podiatry, but they are specifically in Chicago that everyone goes to. So a lot of the VAs in Chicago, everyone gets a month to rotate at them. And then we also do our internal medicine and general surgery rotations at a hospital within Chicago or within Illinois.
Okay, thank you. And I realize we never talked class size. Is it, generally speaking, large class sizes, small class size? What's the general feel at the Scholl College?
I think
Usually our, oh, did you want to answer it?
you could go.
Okay, usually our classes, like a majority of them, I would say it is podiatry students where it's like about 100 students in the class, although classes aren't technically mandatory. Some may be mandatory to go to and attend. It just depends on like the professor and like the course director as a whole. But in our second year, most of them aren't mandatory. And then the ones with like the MD students or like the Path A's or anything like that, like our classes tend to be bigger. But it's not hard to get any kind of like access to professors or anything like that for office hours.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, I mean, like we also have courses that have like little small workshops where they'll break up the class. So we have around 20, 30 students, maybe 10 to 15, kind of depends on the course, where if it's hands-on stuff that you really want to interact with the professor for, then they'll have us be split up into those. And I mean, it offers a great opportunity for you to really get something down and not just see it on a projector screen, but, really interact with your professor, have them verify what you were doing with your hands. It's a big deal,
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Well, thank you so much. Let's transition into one of our favorite segments is professor shoutouts. We'd love to give each of you an opportunity to maybe call out 2 professors that have really made an impact on your education so far. Agna, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. I would like to thank Dr. Jaffe. I really do enjoy his classes when he comes to teach with us. I'm really excited for dermatology and for our second year. For me, he really helped us through our research for UICR. We did a skin graft research, and he was very well like educated on it and was really available to help us out. And he also works hand in hand with picking like clerkships for students, and I've heard from the P3s and P4s that he really like puts his whole heart into it and tries to make sure that like each student gets like the place that they want, and he's also very available for them too.
Very good. How about a non-clinical?
A non-clinical, I would say I like Dr. S. She is very nice and caring about her students, and she will go out of her way to basically teach us and clarify any kind of topics that we have. She's actually my mentor, so she helps me find like research when we had this opportunity where if you want to do clear with the NIH, or if you want to do clear on the normal biomechanics route. And I was like having a hard time figuring out which one I really wanted to do. So she was able to connect me with not like 1 or 2 like P3s, but like almost like 10 students from different kind of research, and like connect me with professors. And it just shows like how dedicated that she was to like find the right match in research for me, as well as find out what kind of like opportunity best aligned with what my goals were. So I really, really appreciate like how a faculty could take like such time out of their day and out of their life to like come and help like make mine a little bit better.
Oh, that's great. Just for our listeners, when we've mentioned CLEAR a couple of times, it's an acronym for Center of Lower Extremity Ambulatory Research, and that is Scholl's research arm. So that's great that you got to work with them. Fantastic. Cameryn.
Hang on real quick. What is the course that Dr. S teaches?
She does biochemistry her first year.
Perfect.
And then
I
she'll
didn't
like,
catch that. So
yeah, and then she'll go into a little bit of like pharmacology too.
awesome. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you, Agna. Cameryn, professor shoutouts at Scholl.
So for non-clinical, I'd have to say Dr. Grummett. He does a lot with recruitment of the students. So he's kind of your like first view into Scholl. He also does a lot with, he teaches clinical anatomy first year. And he also helps us prepare for boards with clinical anatomy. He did like trivia at one of like a local restaurant here, and we were all getting prepared to take boards, so that was fun. In terms of clinical professors, I want to shout out Dr. Woodard. She worked a lot with us at the Interprofessional Community Clinic, which is a free clinic at Scholl where patients can come and get free podiatric care. So I worked with her a lot through that, and she's always great to work with in clinic and very helpful.
Fantastic. Haumza, professor shout-outs at Scholl.
I'm gonna go with Dr. Jarrett. Dr. Jarrett for biomechanics. Dr. Jarrett has honestly been one of the impact that she's made on both my personal life as well as my academic career and how I go into exams. And she has really had a massive impact on the last 6 months since I've finished her course with her. And I genuinely appreciate it a lot because biomechanics is very important, and it's I really had a wonderful time in that course. And for second, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, not going non-clinical. I'm gonna go with Dr. Patel. Dr. Pratibha Patel, she's our course director for surgery and sports med this year. And she's whenever I have any sort of question about what to do about anything academic or extracurricular, I just go to her just to communicate and just ask for help. She's been a big mentor for me, both literally as at Rosalind we have mentors, but she's also always been there. So I want to give them both a shout out.
Fantastic. So since we're on shout outs, I thought I'd give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Bako Diagnostics. We all know that early detection is the most important determination in improving patient outcomes. Bako Diagnostics remains committed to supporting you in your role as the first line of defense in diagnosing lower extremity pathologies. Bako Diagnostics, helping podiatric physicians keep America on its feet. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to have the Bako Dermatology Lab, maybe not yet, but they're such great supporters of our profession at every level, from students to residents to clinicians. So just a quick shout out to our sponsor. So thank you.
And in that nice little transition, I love hearing the mentors, like how people impact your life, especially at this level of your phases of career. So we'll kind of shift into what was it specific? And Cameryn, you already had mentioned some of the things that were kind of impactful in your decision making. But let's put yourself back a couple of years. You're looking at all these different opportunities, different programs. What were some of the really standout things? Why would a student want to pick the Scholl College? And let's start with Haumza, and then we'll go down the reverse in my cameras. Go ahead.
So I am a Chicago native. So that was obviously a influence. Chicago suburbs, not just Chicago. There's people always talking about Naperville. But I had known people who had gone to Scholl previously who were either second year or third year, or people who have now finished residency. So I was always aware of it, and I was always aware of podiatry. So it's just a hop skip away from where I live. So I applied and I went on my visit, and now I'm here.
Wonderful. Yeah, location is huge for a lot of people, so I could definitely understand that. All right, Agna, how about you?
Yeah, so mine's kind of similar to Haumza. I really love Chicago and I love the city. And also almost in my whole entire family lives in Illinois. So for me, I felt like it was really important to stay somewhere close to them where I have a really big support system, as well as I really do like how Scholl sends out their kids earlier, where we get to go into clerkships a lot earlier. And the major thing that drew me was that they did have that clear research program, because I've been involved in research all through undergrad. So I thought it was like very important that like I continue that into my medical school career. So just finding something that was that like impactful would be nice to have it in medical school. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And how about you, Cameryn? You had mentioned some of the early clinicals. What were some of the other things for you?
Yeah, so I'm a New York native who was living in DC and went to Alabama for undergrad, so I was not near Chicago at all. But I picked Scholl because when I was looking at different podiatrists to shadow, I was on the East Coast, but I was still consistently seeing all these podiatrists saying they went to Scholl, they graduated from Scholl. They weren't they like did their studying at Scholl. So it was just a name that kept coming up. So I knew that I would have a good network after I graduated. I also loved that, kind of like Agna was saying, and like I said before, we got to go out on clinicals a little bit earlier than some other schools. So that was great because I know that I'm a hands-on learner. So that would really benefit me. And then when I visited, I think the faculty and the staff there were so welcoming. You get to speak to a lot of different members of the faculty as you go through the admissions process. And all of them were just so interested in learning about you, like so excited to tell you about what they teach at Scholl, what they have to offer you. And I also, on my tour, they said that Rosalind Franklin, which is the university that Scholl is a part of, was one of the first medical schools in the country to be named after a woman. So that was also pretty cool little unique fact about Rosalind Franklin that would made it stand out a little bit.
Absolutely. I love that little fun fact for any of the listeners that aren't aware of who Rosalind Franklin is. So thank you.
Absolutely. And I was just in Chicago last weekend. It was so beautiful. The Miracle Mile area and all the lights, and what a beautiful town. All right, so maybe that kind of nice segue into the next discussion. Two questions. The first one is, what do you do to recharge your battery during the very challenging academics that you're experiencing? You can't have your foot on the gas all the time, right? So what do you do for fun? And then maybe what does your class do for fun? What are some things you've done together to kind of bond with your classmates? Cameryn, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think just for me personally, what I like to do, I like to go to the gym. I like to cook a lot. So when I do have a little bit of extra time, cooking is good. Also reading, all that to like de-stress, kind of refocus me on something else besides school. As a class, something that I really liked about third year is that I got a lot closer to a lot of different members of our class. So our class actually had a Halloween party in the city. We all went to the city and kind of hung out together. And then just in like little friend groups, me and my friends will always like go out to dinner, together, just hang out at each other's houses, have a Halloween party, Christmas party, whatever time of year it is, just after a test party, anything to celebrate if we have time.
Cameryn, what do you like to read?
I'll do a little bit of everything. My favorite is definitely like psychological thriller, like mystery type books. I think it's easy to get like brought into that world, and that helps me relax, de-stress from the world of school.
Absolutely, you got to have that.
Mhm.
Fantastic, thank you. Haumza, what do you do to recharge the battery, and what do you enjoy doing as a class?
I think it changes from day to day. When you're at school, I have to work out, get some blood pumping, But if it's on the weekend, I'll go back home, go see my family, go see my friends. It makes a big difference. Sometimes it can get hectic, but whenever you get the chance to slip away and go hang out with friends and family, if they're here or if they're at school, or if they're here at school, then I'll get that done. Play basketball, play pickleball. Pickleball's in now, golf, or honestly, just hang out with friends, go out to eat.
Do you have a gym at the university?
Yeah, we do. We have one downstairs at school, and it's a nice gym. You can get your lift in, go on the treadmill. We have little things that you can put your laptop and stuff on. So if you still need it to study while you're at the gym.
Oh, a little multitasking going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like walking desks or like
Never
walking
been
beds.
I've never been one to do both. I'm not good at
Give
I
your
can't
brain a
multitask like
break.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give your brain a break. Yeah.
How's your pickleball game coming along?
not very good. But if I ever run into you again, I'll give you an update on it.
Okay. I'll see you in Phoenix in March.
Let's
Well,
hope I get
I'll
here.
also say this. It's so important this was a conversation around a dinner table of a bunch of surgeons. It's wonderful to have skills and hobbies that you are not great at, that you do it because you love it. Like you don't have to get really great at it. Like that's not really the point. Like you could, right? But there are so many other things that compete for your time. So you love that pickleball, and it's okay if your game is adequate.
I think that's fantastic. Hey, when you're exercising, more blood's going to your brain too, so maybe you
That's right.
learn while you're multitasking. Agna, what are your thoughts? Well, how do you recharge your battery, and what do you enjoy doing with your classmates?
Yeah, of course. So what I really like to do is cooking and baking. I like to like learn how to make new things. It's just like my love language. I love feeding other people. So I love having people over at my apartment and we'll have like little potluck nights. And I also do love going to the gym. I go to the spin classes that Rosalind offers. And so every Tuesday and Thursday, I just go to one of those and get a quick workout in for like 45 minutes and then to go back to studying. Um,
Perfect.
yeah. And I have used one of those walking desks and they are phenomenal. Like they like you can walk as fast as you want. You can even run if you want and you get to have your laptop open, adjust the desk and you can like go through your presentations, which is really nice. Yeah, and then I also do like going into the city and exploring new restaurants and walking around, taking nice pictures and just hanging out with my friends there from like college because all of them are still in Chicago. So it's nice to have like that kind of gap between like medical school and then going back to like my people that I feel comfortable with too. And as a class, we do a lot of like outings where we do have like potlucks and like sometimes people host it and I know last year we had like bowling events, we had White Elephant, which was really fun. At the end of the year, we also had like a few like golf events, which a lot of people like did enjoy. So it's like we hit a lot of different like aspects. We also go and volunteer as a class. So we go to feed my ch starving children. We've done that, I think, once or twice already. And we had a really big turnout, almost like 30, 40 students came out and we were able to make an impact on like people and we got to come together and then afterwards we got some food. So it was really fun.
Fantastic. So what is your dish of choice? What's your specialty if you were going to make dinner for four?
Ooh, I make really good paneer tacos, if you know what that is. It's a fusion between like Indian and Mexican food, which I really, really like making. Or I like making like the sun-dried tomato pesto with mozzarella, basil, and it's like a flatbread. And then you like put like balsamic glaze over it, and it's really, really delicious.
Oh my gosh, that sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
And Joe, I kept thinking someone was going to say go to Great America and have fun riding roller coasters. 'Cause whenever I see the Rosalind Franklin sign, Great America is right there.
Yeah, I had a season pass going up, so like I've been there so many times, and I love going there for Fright Fest, but I haven't went this year. I don't know why.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
It's too much cooking. You're having too much fun doing all the
I
other
know.
things. But yet you're in a cultural hotspot for great food. So I mean that certainly helps. Actually, that's a fair question, real quick. I don't mean to hijack the conversation, Dr. Jensen, but um, would a student have to have a car for those first 2 years? Would they be able to consider public transportation with where Rosalind Franklin is located?
I
Yeah.
think, sorry,
Cameron,
Sorry,
go.
I didn't ask anyone specifically. We'll start with Cameryn and then we'll go back to
Yeah.
Agna. Go ahead, Cameryn.
I think for your first 2 years, you do need a car or you
Okay.
need a close friend with a car. It's very easy to live on campus and get to school without a car, but if you want to get groceries or anything like that, you will need a car. We are in the suburbs. Once you get towards your like third and fourth year, though, a lot of people tend to move towards the city because we do a lot of our rotations in the city. Then maybe it's not as necessary, but definitely for your first and second year, because we also do get sent to different like clinical sites throughout Illinois.
Excellent. Anything to add different, Agna?
I live on campus, so I do have a car, and I would say it's like really easy to get like from place to place, like grocery stores. But I do know like a lot of people that don't have a car and they get like groceries delivered to them, or either like walk and like take the bus or anything like that. Because we do have a bus system here that's near Roslyn, and then there we also have access to a shuttle system that takes you to the metro, and then that will
Okay.
take you to different suburbs that you can go to, and then you can also end up in the city. And then from the city, you can like, for me, I would go back to like Bloomington. So then you could take the Amtrak all the way back. So like technically, if I wanted to go home, I wouldn't need like a car to go home. I just need to go on the Metro. And then also in the city, then you have like access to like CTA, which is like the public transport. So like you can really find your own way around things. It is a possibility, but it is easier having a car on campus. So then you don't have to wait around and like kind of coordinate everything like that in like the long term. But if that's not an option, there are other options where public transport is possible.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Thank
You
you.
know, I was going to just kind of give a shout out, Joe, to the Scholl College in general, because not only do they provide tremendous education, but they've been leaders in the future of our profession. Just case in point, when we started our residency at North Colorado, now I'm going back 20 years or so, it was Scholl College that provided the residency Genesis funds. So shout out to Scholl for vision of the future. So very good. Anything else, Joe, on your that you'd like to discuss?
Ooh, if we have some time,
We
I would love
do.
to do like a quick lightning round of
Yeah.
favorite thing in the city. I love cities. I love
Okay.
big cities. I love public transportation. I love all of the things, probably because I grew up outside of the city. So Haumza, we're gonna start with you. Favorite thing inside the city to do?
Eat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, favorite
Chicago's known
restaurant
for its
then.
food. Chicago's known for
What?
its food. Small Cheval is my favorite burger place.
Oh, awesome.
So
All right.
I know everybody's got an opinion on their favorite burger in the city, but Small Cheval is my favorite.
All right. Agna, how about you?
I really enjoy going kayaking on the river when it's warm outside, and it's nice because then you can go to through the Chicago River and you get to see all the nice skyscrapers and nice architecture.
Oh, I love that. I didn't even know you could kayak on the river. All right.
Mhm.
Cameryn, how about you?
To be honest, I didn't go into the city too much, but I did recently go to, I believe it's called Time Out Market, which is like the market that has a bunch of different restaurants inside. So that's always a fun one because everyone can kind of get something different, and the food was really good.
Fantastic.
Joe, I meant to ask you earlier, how was the AO course this past weekend?
Oh man, it was outstanding. Yeah. So we did our very first AO advanced course that you guys will get to have an opportunity when you're residents to come in and do. Definitely targeted probably more toward your end of second, beginning of third year, perhaps. Again, depending on what residency maybe you go to, but not necessarily your first year target. But it was really outstanding. Yeah. So many incredible people involved. And so at the end of one of the days, we go out to dinner. And so we all talked about the things that you were a little better than a novice, but not nearly close to, like, you're not an expert. And so I coined that, we talked about the idea of the amateur. It's from the heart, that the core of that word is to love, right? You're doing it for the love of it, not for and to hear everyone's like novice projects that they're into. It was so interesting to learn more about people that way. So it reminded me of this conversation.
Well, I know it really kind of paints a picture of where the students are going down the road in terms of
Absolutely.
education and training, and it lends credence to the fact that you're a lifetime learner, a lifelong learner
Yes.
when you go into medicine for sure. All right. Well, gosh, I wanted to thank all three of you for joining us on Dean's Chat. Tremendous representation of the Scholl College of Podiatric Medicine. Joe and I are going to send each of you one of these Dean's Chat cups and enjoy them morning or evening, right? And to all of our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in, whether it's on Apple or Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, by all means, become a subscriber. And until next week, thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.